Hey everyone, it's Delaney, Senior Inbound Marketing Specialist at Hivehouse Digital. Today, we're going to go over 3 tools to help you understand your website audience. We're going to go over Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and we'll go over Hotjar. Let's get into it. All right, so let's get started with Google Search Console. Now, we're going over this first because it's going to help you understand how visitors came to your website and what they were searching for. This is really a great SEO tool to understand the keywords that are getting visitors to your website. So I'm looking over the search results performance report, and that's what we'll go over in today's video. So first up, you can choose the search type. You can choose web, image, video, or news. Depending on your website, you might want to look at all of them, but we're going to focus on web today. Then you can choose the date range that you want to see the data for. They have a variety of different preset filters, or you can do a custom filter, which I find myself using most often because typically I want to look for a whole month. So, the start of January to the end of January, something like that. For this video, we'll just keep it at the last 3 months. It really depends on what you're trying to analyze. And you can also use the compare tab if you want to compare and contrast different periods together. So the last 3 months versus the previous 3 months to that. So that's an option you can do as well. And when you choose your filter, you can go ahead and click apply, and it will update the date range. Next, it's going to give you an overview chart. So the total number of clicks you have gotten via search, the total impressions, so how many people saw your search results, the average click-through rate, and then the average position. Clicking on these different tabs are going to put that data in this chart over here, as well as show it on this chart down here that we'll get to in a second. So depending on the data you want to look at, you can select or deselect the different data so you can view it in the charts. Because I want to talk about it in a second, I'm going to make sure I have click-through rate and the average position clicked. So now I'm going to scroll down, and you have this kind of table view, and you have a few different options. So the default is looking at the query, so the search terms that people use to get to your site. So over here is where you're going to see those keywords for what people searched. And then over here, you're going to see the data. So how many clicks, how many impressions, the click-through rate, and the average position for that keyword. So again, this is really helpful for determining what keywords are bringing people to your website. Is it just branded search terms? Are they related to a blog or a service or your product? It's just a really great way to understand what people are searching to get to your website, and you can identify any opportunities. So, maybe blogs for optimization, or some gaps that you need to work on, like optimizing one of your service pages or creating blogs on that topic. And again, let's say I didn't have the average search position selected. You can see it won't show down here. So it's really important to make sure that you have that selected. Additionally, you have this filter over here where you can add filters for the keywords or the top queries, the clicks, impressions, and click-through rate. So those are options for filtering as well. For example, maybe you want to filter out your domain name or your company name. You can do that so it filters those out, and you can look at the non-branded search terms. You also have this tab for pages, and it's just going to show your different pages. And again, the clicks, impressions, click-through rate, and the average search position, if you have that selected. It'll show down here the data for the specific pages rather than keywords. And again, you can add filtering here. Then you have a tab for countries. So this is just really showing you demographic data based on country. Devices, that's going to show, for this example we're looking at, the vast majority of clicks are coming from desktop rather than mobile or tablet. Search appearance, this is going to show you what the search results were like. For example, on this one, we have some translated results, as well as how-to rich text results, which is a schema you can add to your website, and it will show how-tos. And finally, you have dates, which is really just showing an overview of that data on a specific date. So that's really all we have to show you when it comes to Google Search Console. Again, this is a great way to identify how people are finding you and coming to your website. So now that we've established that, let's take a look at Google Analytics and understand what people are doing when they come to your website. All right, so now we're going to go into Google Analytics, and really this is a really big tool with a lot of different functionality and different ways to see how people came to your website, what they're doing, where they're spending their time. There's a lot to it, and we can't cover it all in this tech tip video. So for this video, we're going to focus on the traffic acquisition report. Again, at the top, you've got your filters for date range. For this one, let's do the last 90 days. And then you can also add additional filtering here. For example, if you wanted to filter by demographics, the page and screen data, different things like that. So here you have a couple charts that are going to show you charts based on how they got to your website, whether that's organic search, whether it's paid search, email, direct, whatever it is. This is just some overview charts. And what I really like using is if you scroll down. So again, you have this table view and it's showing you a lot of data that you can customize. So the default here is going to show you the channel group. So you have organic search, direct, unassigned, paid search, email, referral, paid social, etc. And so in Google Search Console, that's really focusing on organic traffic, but Google Analytics shows you everything, whether it be that organic search, that direct, the unassigned, which means that Google doesn't know where they came from. You can see how many paid search you have. So really, this is the central hub for understanding how people came to your website beyond organic search. If you want to change what this is grouped by, you can click here where it says session default channel group, and you can change it. So maybe you want to change it by the session medium. And so here you have a little bit of a different view. You could do source medium. So it's going to, instead of just having organic, it's broken down by Google, or let's say, Bing. You have that broken down a little bit more. Over here on the side is all of our data that we can take a look at. So right now, how we have it set up is with users, new users, session, the average session duration, views per session, and bounce rate. Now, this is telling us, how many users came to our site, and then again, broken down by that source and medium. Same with new users and sessions, how long people stayed on the site, how many page views did they have per session, and what is the bounce rate for that? Are they quickly bouncing off the page? For example, like the LinkedIn paid social, they're bouncing really quick. But then if we look at being organic, they're staying on the website a little bit more. Now, again, this is customizable. So what we can do is go up and click on this pencil icon. And if we click on metrics, which we're going to focus on for this video, we can add additional metrics. So let's see, we have e-commerce data if you have an e-commerce website. And if we scroll down, we could add some different data. So maybe I want to add the engagement rate. And I also want to see engaged sessions, which I can also search for. So if I know I want engaged sessions, I don't have to keep scrolling. I can just search engaged sessions. And if we scroll down, we can see it hasn't been applied yet. So if I click apply, you'll be able to see that engagement rate and engaged sessions are here. If we want to move it up a little bit, we can go back to these metrics and we can pull it up. So under sessions, I can put engaged sessions, and then maybe I want to keep bounce rate and engagement rate together. Again, I'll click apply, and I can see that it has now applied to the table. But we're not done yet. We have to scroll back up and click save. And I'm going to change it so it is saving the changes to the current report and not creating a new report. Again, I'm going to click save again. And now we have officially saved it to our main view. So if I click back and scroll down, I can see if I scroll here, I've got engagement rate and I've got engaged sessions added to the table. So now this is really giving me a full look at where people are coming from when they access the website, how long are they staying on the website, what are they engaging with, as well as are they bouncing off fast. Now, if we want to look at a page view, we can go to engagement and then pages and screens. Again, very similar setup with the charts in the date range. And if we scroll down over here, we've got the name of the page title, the sessions and the views that page got, and then the engagement time, the session duration, the bounce rate, the views per session. And so this is going to look at a more page view and see how many visitors it's gotten, are they engaging with the content, how long are they staying? And again, you can adjust this data on this table to get further information. You can also click this filter up here where it says page title and screen class. And what I really like to do is click on page path, and that is going to change it to its URL. So if I only want to look at blogs, I can just use the search bar and filter for blog because I know that's in my title URL. And now I can see all of the pages that contain the word blog, and I can look at data just for that kind of content group. So I think that is all we're going to touch on for Google Analytics. Again, Search Console is focusing just on organic, and Google Analytics is really showing you a full picture of how visitors are coming to your website. These are both free tools from Google. You just have to make sure to add it to your site and get everything connected. Now, the last tool I'm going to cover in this video is called Hotjar, and Hotjar is a paid tool that can help you understand where people are clicking on your website and really how far they're getting on the page. So let's get into that tool. All right, so we're in Hotjar now, and I just created a heat map for our website development page. Now, this is a newer page that we launched pretty recently, so this is a really new page to our website, and so I probably usually would wait a little bit longer to gather data on this, but for this example, I thought it would be a good page to show. So up here, we have the heat map is the URL is our website /services/website development. And then you can change the filter here to change the date range. Typically, when I am analyzing my page, I am typically looking at about 3 months of data. I feel like that gives a good time frame to really understand how people are using the page. But of course, depending on your use case, you can look at more time or less time, depending on your goals. So right now, this heat map is showing me areas of the site that people are clicking. So I can see people are clicking on our services tab. I can see they're clicking on this button. And again, if I hover over it, I can see there were 2 clicks to the website in this date range, and that is 8.33% of all clicks. I can also see there were some clicks on the banner itself. And depending on what you're looking at, if you see that, that might tell you that you need to make the banner clickable. Is there a reason that someone is trying to click through the banner? Probably not in this case, but if you tend to see a lot of people clicking on your banner and it is not going to any location, maybe that's an opportunity for you to optimize the website and have those people click through to a page. And then we can just scroll down and we can see, no one's clicked on this button yet for view our proven process. So maybe we need to adjust the language on that. Again, this is a short time frame, so I probably wouldn't make any changes yet, but that's an option. I can see people clicking on our packages and that tells us maybe we need to make this clickable. And then I can see our related blogs and our FAQs, and then I can see there was a click on this call to action at the bottom of the page. And so this really just gives you a view of where are people clicking? Do we need to change our CTA language? Do we need to move a call to action up so people convert? And that kind of brings me to my next point is over here on the right, you can see these map types. And if you click on scroll, what you can see is how far people got down the page. So this red section, 100% of users have seen this top section. The yellow, 81.2% of users scrolled that far. And then if we look at this green section, that's about 75% of our visitors, all the way down to about 56%. So only half of the people have made it this far down the page. And so, if we have more important information further down, we might want to bump that up so people can see that information that might get them to convert. And so you can just keep scrolling and you can see, we got 50% here. If I hover, I can see 43%. And if I scroll here, we got 37%. And it kind of decreases, as you get down the page, which makes sense. But only, about 25% of users saw the FAQ, and only 18% of users really saw this call to action at the bottom. So what we can do is we can look at this and decide, does it make sense to shift content around? Is all of the important information, above the average fold of the website? We can, take that into consideration and use that to optimize our content. One last map type that I want to point out is the move one, which I don't tend to use as much, but it is an option. And this is really kind of showing you mouse movement of where people are kind of moving their mouse on the page. And for this page, really, it seems pretty static. These blue dots are just kind of where they are. There's not a ton of movement, but you can see there's a lot of movement kind of just at the top of the page. And that's telling me probably it's because people are clicking on our services and then they're moving to the different menu options when they click on our services. If we go down, we can see a little bit of movement this way. We can see a lot of movement around our service packages. And so you can use this and decide, and just look at where people are moving, and does it make sense to adjust content based on that? So that is one last option. I don't use it as much as the clicks in the scroll map, but that is an option you can use in Hotjar. All right, so that is all we have for you today. We went over Google Search Console and Google Analytics, which tell you how people got to your website and how long they're interacting with your content. Those are 2 free tools. And then we went over Hotjar, which is a tool you can use to understand how people are interacting with the content on your website with heat maps and click maps. I hope this was helpful and you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our next tech tip. Thank you.